So this one was a short one. Um, well, I mean, that doesn't really matter, but it was interesting because it was like a different take on the reading. It was definitely like the kind of the first one, a little more intuitive, and that's what I was hoping to do. Just doing these readings and then just really like having fun with it and having fun with it from a place of you know downloaded fun. It's something that is more guided, something that felt a little bit more natural and flowing. So this time it's with another a friend of mine from this program we're in. Um, that's for another time. But in any case, I hope you enjoy the recording, the video we did, or the session we did, this reading. Just go with it. Yeah. So.
Sure, let's go.
Okay, so I'm just going to open your chart here.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what we have here. And then I'm going to share my screen. And you're going to be able to see it, and I think you're going to be able to see me as well at the
Oh,
same
there
time.
you
You
go.
still see me? Okay,
Absolutely.
perfect. Okay, take that down. All right, and take that down. All right. So, okay. Let's see where this goes. All right. So you've never had a reading before, so you also know a little bit about it through, especially like through tarot reading, like the Taurus stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So usually what we do is we start with the ascendant, and I'm actually
Right.
yeah, and the ascendant is actually like basically our mask. It's what we package ourselves to the world, and I'm gonna actually. It's also for people online. So I noticed here your ascendant was in Scorpio. Ooh, okay.
That's
So
right.
you definitely come off definitely like it's like there's an unpredictability and there's like an unusualness, but definitely like a darkness to you, like that people see first, and then or at least that you want them to kind of. It's kind of partial. Like it because the first house is linked to the 12th house. 12th house is right here. So 12th house means that it's usually the subconscious. So whatever comes through the subconscious into the first house, meaning like that's basically the ascendant. This is the time of your when you were born, when the sun is just rising. So what that really means astrologically speaking, the interpretation is that um, your ascendant is the one that is like yeah the mask. It's like that. It's the
Right.
veil
Right.
around it. So yeah, you get it. So but it's attached to the 12th house, so that means it's part of your subconscious. Like it's kind of like the DNA, sort of like a DNA, sort of like into like oh here's what you'll see first. And
Right. Right.
because it's in Scorpio and this is that sort of dark side to it, um, it's kind of like what your subconscious, your soul basically wanted to show. It's what you
That's why
subconscious
I'm so guarded.
possibly. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think you're that guarded. To be honest, like you do come off at
I'm
first.
not.
Yeah, I know, but the FTP like brings out like pretty much like our whole selves, and like this is
Hmm.
that's what I love this program. So anyways, and so people tend to see that. They also see like I don't know. I think you like dress. Do you like dressing in dark clothes and dark colors?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So you do come off as that like kind of like here's my secret veil and I can read you, but you may not read me kind of thing. It's like it's like
Yeah.
it's very yeah. It's ruled by Pluto. So Pluto if you don't know this yet, but like Pluto rules every planet in astrology is what's referred to as the like the actors. The signs are the house and the wife, so the dresses, the costumes, and all that stuff. The houses are where the stage itself. So,
Okay.
analogically speaking, um, so when we're talking about, um, mind you, I'm going to get sometimes eccentric and I kind of digress, so that's part of the process that I
You're okay.
do. So, um, what else? Okay, so because it's ruled by because the sign is ruled mainly by Pluto, Scorpio, we have to look into where Pluto is. So that will help me read where your how your ascendant is typically more specifically seen. So I see here that it was in Virgo. So what that does, it adds color to the appearance that you give. It also shows me that people might find you like this is probably why you also like wear glasses or like people think you read, you're very intellectual, scientific kind of. It's also kind of a Scorpio thing, but Virgo that combined. And at the same time, you also have moon there. So there's that mystery about you. There's sort of that attractiveness about you that people get drawn to you, and you're just like, oh, okay. And it's this very like you have a very youthfulness also about you because it's Virgo, and there's a purity as also about it. So it's not just purely Scorpio; it is also Virgo. So it's colored by that. So you have the water and you have the earth as well, and that also makes you stubborn and kind of, but also flexible to a certain degree
Right.
because of that. And that's what people read at first. They're like, there's a bit of there's this sort of a mixture of energy that they're feeling. Their sense of like, what? Who is this person? They're attractive, and like I want to talk to them. That's what it is, and that's what I got when I was like, oh, she's very like there's a kind of pull about her. It's like okay, interesting, but definitely for sure, and I don't want to say this in any. I'm not going to mean this in any way, but definitely motherly sort of, but motherly, but also like dominant motherly sort of
Mm.
veil, that mask that you got, like that people see first, because you have Pluto, which is that dominant part, which is all about. It's like it's the higher elevation of Mars, so definitely it's about power. It's about, but genuineness as well because when we Pluto, Pluto, it's just it's fucking like reveals the truth through like, but it's
Right. Right.
slow. It's a slow thing. So maybe people also find that they it takes a while for them to really get to know you, you
Yes.
know. So and it's like so there's that combination, that hard icy water with that sort of like technical analytical earth, which is Virgo. But with the moon there, it's like, okay. And it's conjunct, so that means that there's a sort of a link between your ascendant and possibly like your reputation in the world, which is like how people, I guess, choose to label you as well,
Hmm.
combined with like how you see yourself or how you package yourself to the world, or even how you choose to subconsciously, of course, package yourself to the world. So does that kind of make sense?
It does.
Okay,
It
good.
does.
Well, yeah, you get it. I'm sure you do. Just okay. So there's that, and I want to see if there's any aspects to that. So we usually look at aspects. Aspects are like lines in the chart that connect between certain points. Usually, it's the planets, and then planets to the angular houses. Angular houses.
Hmm.
Oh, you know angular houses. Okay.
I don't. I
Oh, sorry.
don't. I'm agreeing.
Sorry. Okay, so angular houses are like the ascendant, then your deer down here, which is your deeper side, your inner self, and then your descendant, which is the you and I sort of self, and then there's the midheaven. I forgot what that stands for. Who cares? But it's the you and us together kind of thing. So yeah,
Okay.
okay. So 23 degrees. So I usually like to, I don't want to go into a single every little thing here, but I usually look at areas in a person's life that are challenging. So I usually look at what's the aspects that are referred to as square aspects. Square aspects keep us awake. They challenge us, they make us like, oh, we're actually learning from this. We're better people because of it. The blue lines you see in here in your chart, forget those for now. Those are, we can do that another time, but it's the red ones.
Okay.
It's the red ones that are more important. And any sort of like any square aspect to your ascendant. So 23, oh, it's in a perfect ascendant to your Ceres right here. Okay. So Ceres is a planet of physical nurture, but at the same time, like it's a parent-child nurture.
You mean our spiritual sun series?
Right here. It's,
How are you spelling it?
Ceres.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So in Greek mythology, she was Demeter, so the mother of Persephone.
Right. Okay.
Oh, you know,
Yep.
okay, okay. So as you may
Thank
have,
you.
you're welcome. So as you may have already know, her daughter was kidnapped and raped by Hades. So
Yes.
it's like a representation of loss and gain. So Ceres is the goddess of representation of loss and gains. So balance between parent and child. So when you lose something, it's like you give of yourself. That could be the parent, but that could also be the child. Either way, it's gonna go. She was the goddess of the seasons, the seasonal changes. So people always like gave to her, worshipped her in a way to like represented when there was a seasonal change, good harvest, like the hearth. I think it was the hearth. I think she was also the goddess of the hearth.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's like more physical nurture. She's not like the moon, which is equal to Artemis or Diana. She's more like emotional upheavals, ups and downs, vibrations, senses, the need to touch, motherhood, mother figures, those kind of things, food habits. Food, Ceres and the moon are kind of very similar, but Ceres is more on the, I guess you can call it like a, it's more about DNA, close more than the moon itself.
Right. Right.
Yeah, there's actually some astrologers that I've seen on YouTube that studied Ceres, and Ceres is like has something to do with epigenetics.
To do with what?
Epigenetics. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think it's like the environment, how the environment changes our DNA. So for you, because you have Ceres in the third house, well, actually, first of all, Ceres in Aquarius, it's that Ceres in Aquarius is how you represent unconditional love through basically humanity here. You have humanity and how you communicate with people, how you give of yourself, but at the same time, how you get that unconditional love from others. It's Aquarius. It's like it goes both ways, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of truth seeking. You know Aquarius. It's just truth. She's the water bearer, so it's all about humanitarian causes, changes, eccentricism, mod, the future, thinking ahead, being more logical, being more grounded in logic, so to speak, grounded, and but with Ceres, it's that unconditional love that's not just like it's not just me, it's not just you, it's all of us.
Right.
Yeah. So there is a socialist sort of aspect to it. Okay, you're very socialist in that case. But with it being square to your ascendant, people might find this would be that people might find your natural ability to care for others kind of like I'm not sure where this is probably going. So you've had a lot of, especially when you were younger, you had this experience of like, I don't know if I should accept this. They kind of questioned it. You got probably I don't know maybe ostracized in some degree because it is Aquarius and you have Scorpio there when you have the square
Mm-hmm.
yeah to your ascendant. So there's a lot of like you got you probably didn't get accepted and you would tend to be accepted more by people who are of the same I guess you could say not just like-minded but like-hearted, like-souled. I want to use that
Right.
term, right? So it's but on a more yes, it's up here, but it's definitely more. The one thing that the people don't get about Aquarius is that even though it's logical, it's kind of cold-hearted, so to speak. It's not that. It's because it thinks of everything, right?
Right.
Exactly. So when Ceres is in Aquarius, it's like my love goes out to every fucking person, every being, every minute morsel of energy.
Right.
That's a very Aquarian. It's very like but it's also very individualistic. So it could be that your individualism kind of came out and people just like, whoa, like you're not with the status quo kind of thing. So yeah, and so
Yeah.
yeah, it has a lot to do with like how you connected. Third house is transmission, connection. So it's Mercury and Gemini. So Virgo as well, but more Gemini than Virgo. Um, so yeah, so it's a lot. Maybe also siblings. Probably you gave of yourself a lot to your siblings, but then it kind of gave you hid behind that because you're like your ascendant was it was coming off as like, oh, it's not, it's not really, I'm not really shining, I'm not really coming out. And that ties back into how we're going to go into the descendant, because I like to include the descendant, particularly with the ascendant, how that relates. Because growing up, you probably had to um, be refined and always kind of like beautiful. It has to be like a certain way. You have to be simple. You can't be complicated. You can't be above the heavens. You can't be up there. You can't be transformative. You can't be that fucking Scorpio dark. You can't be. You have to be simply down to earth. You have to be like, everything is beautiful about you. You cannot, and things kind of maybe didn't change in your as you grew up, as in your home environment. So when it comes to people you meet, or at least how you connect with people, and that kind of thing, it's this sort of like expectation that you should also have that relationship. But really, your ascendant is showing like, no, I need to have that darker side. So the balance between those is to balance between the Taurus and Scorpio energy. Sorry, you're go ahead. What do you have any
No,
comment?
no, I was gonna say you're pretty good. That's pretty accurate. You're doing
Okay,
great.
thanks. It's all it's I don't know. I think I get insights when I interpret things, even though it's knowledge
Hmm.
as well. It's just weird. So,
Well, it makes sense because you're doing really good.
okay, awesome. Thanks. Well, definitely not just coming from me. So, um, yeah. So there you go. So 23. Because of that, yeah. So definitely also there's that ostracizing sort of experience that you've had with how you communicate your own self and how you give unconditional maybe information, unconditional love through fact sharing, or even just connecting, period. Just trying to connect. And so, there was that challenge between the growing up. So I don't know if you still experience this today. We all change as we get older. We all change. So let's see what else was there. 17, 23 minus 7. Yeah, that's still about okay. So and then so basically what's happening here, you actually have a what's called, I'm just gonna make this random square thing. So you see that's this square. It's in astrology it's called a fixed square, a grand fixed square, whatever the term is. It means that this is one of the challenges you go through still probably continuously today, where your own aspirations and your visions and your goal and even your big business stuff, like this kind of stuff, gets challenged because there's a lot of changes that happen and that take place when it comes to things that you want to venture into. It's also higher education, things that are more about, so it's your visions, your philosophy, your aspirations, your future goals, your need to or desire to expand. And it's ruled by Uranus here, which is sudden changes, unexpected changes, maybe nervousness as well. um, Being in Leo, it's actually not as crazy as it is because it's in Uranus rules Aquarius, but if it's in the opposite sign, it's what's referred to as the detriment, meaning it's not dignified, it is not really at home. So it's the energy of Uranus, which is all about sudden changes, social upheaval, revolutions, sudden changes, all these things are not as strong, but they are still there. It doesn't mean that it's less strong. It's just not as
Right.
expressed compared to, yeah. But in Leo, it's a lot to do with like, because this is what you refer to as, it's what referred to as a generational planet. Oh, yes, I get the time limit. Because it's a generational planet, it's more of like your generation that experienced sudden changes in um, leadership, things to do with management, leadership, probably also businesses, anything to do with Um, children as well. It has a lot to do with children. So, what do you call this? Leo is the description of Leo is not only childlike, but like being able to shine and express yourself. It rules anything that is. It just wants to be in charge. It's like a very. It's ruled by the sun, right? But
Hmm.
When Uranus is in the sign, it means that changes tend to occur uh, pertaining directly to, yeah, so anything with leadership, anything with children, anything to do with
Right.
fun, anything to do with joy, anything to do that is recreational, probably even sports or something like that. So any sort of ventures that you go into that give you joy, it's kind of like I have fun with this, and all of a sudden, wait a second, I have fun with this. Oh wait, no, that's not it. And so what this grand fixed square means for you is to balance how you approach and know when to give of your self and when to get something for yourself, because the changes will take place no matter what. And it's kind of like, I don't know, is there an experience you find, do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like this has a lot to do with this, is because this is a big one. When it comes to squares, it's a big one. It's one of those challenges you go
Right.
through. Yeah.
You mean for changes and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah,
that?
or
Yeah, I mean, I'm
unexpected.
going through that right now with leadership and just the whole paradigm, of how everything is going. There's a huge shift right now, and
Mm-hmm.
I seem to be a major player within this shift. So, yeah, it may actually everything that you're saying plays right into this story that has been unfolding before my eyes. Literally, for the
Mm-hmm.
past year and a half since getting COVID and finding FTP and going on my healing journey. All the stories, all the seeds that are within me, those codes, you're telling my story that has been unfolding for the past year and a half. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
you are right there. And
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
I mean, changes are hard for me. I'm a Taurus, and I was born on 5/5. So we're talking change is really hard. But at the moment, with all the changes I'm going through, I'm looking at it like it's not really a change because
Mm-hmm.
that's the only way I could handle it, right? Was to get rationalize it a bit and say this isn't really changes going through. This is my last permanent change. Like this is all these transitions that I'm going through is the change that I have to do in order to be this person that I came here to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it a little bit different because I hate fucking change. I despise change. And
Yeah.
I've gone through more changes in the past year and a half than I probably have in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like a year and a half, we're talking accelerated growth, accelerate. You have to understand, Jose. What a lot of people, and I don't know if they really understand it when I say it, I isolated. All right. So 11 years, well, I'm going to say I was alone for 11 years, but prior to that 11 years of truly being alone, prior to that 11 years, I was alone even before that for like since 2000. Um, due to some things that happened in my life. So I had my children, I went to work, don't get me wrong, but then the past 11 years, I isolated. I went, fuck you all, man. You know what? I'm done with the human race. I'm done with all the bullshit. I'm done with the pain. And I literally went to work and came home and got into nature and fairies and angels and spirits and God and divine connection and energy. And I stayed away from everybody. FTP talking to you like this would have never happened if I had not got COVID. When I got COVID, I was forced to make changes in my life. And when I found FTP and found out that I could go on fucking line, bear with me here, but so that I
Yeah, yeah,
could
yeah.
go
That's fine.
online and start telling my story, I could love God, I can love the divine, I can love birds, the earth, the moon, the stars, and I can talk about it. My whole life fucking changed. And that was the one change that I'm going through is I'm looking at it like It's all this one change. Because if I keep looking at every time I fucking change, I'm going to go insane. Because I have changed. If you were to see my very first video from a year and 8 months ago,
Mhm.
when I first joined FTP, you wouldn't know it was me. You really wouldn't. I was, hi, my name's Lori.
Oh, really? Okay.
Hi. Oh yeah, man, it's fucking brutal. And when I say that FTP changed my life, Jose, I mean it. I
Yeah.
mean, I would go to work and I'd see my patients. I worked in occupational therapy, and but I didn't really let anybody into my world. You know, nobody into my heart, nobody into my world, because I was done with fucking people.
Yeah.
I was done with church and the two-faced people. I was just done. I had like had it up over my head. I was just done with it. And then COVID came and everything fucking changed. And Victor and Aaron, they changed my entire fucking world around. And then Matt came into play, what, like 8 months ago, 6 months ago. And I mean, it's just amazing when you put yourself around certain people, and you just start elevating and you just start changing.
No.
Ah, all right, I'm sorry, I
Oh,
went
no,
off
no,
on
no,
a
no, no,
tangent on
no.
you.
That's totally fine. No, no, no. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. It's we got lots. We got lots of time. I can see why it's like that because, this. I see a person's chart as kind of basically it's your soul contract. It's kind
Right,
of your
right.
soul contract. It's what you decided to do with your. You learned this was your past, and you're like came in here like, okay, so this is what I'm going to experience. Okay, sign. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, sign. This is what I'm going to. Oh, this yeah, sign, 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 sign,
Yep.
sign. Right. So I see it here because the way what you were just describing was like okay, right here. Mind you, because Pluto was in retrograde, even though it was in the ninth house, what that means is the ninth house right here. Ninth house, like I said before, it's where your visions are, your goals, and your you know even traveling, even foreign travel, meeting people in the like meeting foreigners, anything to do with foreign businesses, even. Um, that's like on its own taking a while, but because it's like conjunct, it's in a when we say conjunct, it's like it's headed in the same direction. It's kind of like two cars driving in the same direction.
Right,
But
right.
sometimes some planets don't work well together. And and when I say planet, I also means like it's an aspect of the human psyche. That's really what a
Right,
planet is.
right.
So with Pluto there, it's conjunct to the moon. For you, it's like, yeah, I can see why. The way you like your experiences, your emotions, the ups and downs you experience with people, the public, which is the 10th house, has like, even though you've, you Pluto slowly, internally, literally internally, like flays your fucking insides and goes, no, you think you're done? No, we're not getting it
Yeah,
until you've released all of it and all you are left is pure. So it's
yeah.
really, yeah. So your emotions are definitely become affected here. And when I say emotions, like general emotions, your sort of inner mother sort of thing, that protectress sort of thing, that sort of, I don't know to describe. Moon. You know the moon. It's so,
No,
it's,
no. The
yeah,
moon is all wisdom. Trust me.
exactly.
You know.
So it's I would say FDP might not be the last thing, to be honest, because you got maybe it's not even about just maybe it's still going to be FDP, but maybe this road trip may not be the last thing.
No, I
I'm
know.
not
No,
talking.
there's a
Yeah,
lot more ahead of me.
yeah,
I know there
yeah.
is.
I'm not talking about changes. I'm talking about the experiences through your the body, really, because it's also instinct. Actually, in fact,
Hmm.
yeah, in fact, Pluto is also instinct, but Pluto is a power instinct. Moon is soft, nurturing instinct.
Hey, hey, we're back.
We're back. Okay.
Time flies.
Time flies, that's right. Eventually, I'll probably go back to like Zoom, like the paid plan or whatever. I don't
Yeah, I don't
know.
pay for my Zoom right now either. I haven't used Zoom in a while. I mean, I've been on the road for 3 months. What the hell am I going to do with Zoom? You
Exactly.
know?
So, not a problem.
Soon.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so
All right.
um yeah, so I can see why
Are
right
you
here.
recording?
Oh, yes, I am recording. Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought I'd check to be sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Yay. Um, what else? Oh, okay. The sun probably we don't need to go through that much. There are more things to say in general, like the aspects to your moon. We dove right into like the deeper side of yourself, which is like the moon, right?
Right, right.
Which is like typically, yeah, the moon is, your it's your instincts, it's your emotions, it's what you sense things to be. You kind of get very like technical about things. It's um you feel at home with Virgo things, analysis, science, all those things. But typically, when it comes to only like career wise or at least reputation wise, um, because this is pertaining to directly to the 10th house, but because it's linked to directly to like this, like I said, there's this conjunct right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Pluto's going like, let's make your visions come true and make it more real and say, is this your ego? Is this your reputation? Because that's the 10th house. It's also the ego. It's not just the sun. So Pluto going like, but it's more of internal work. It's not out there kind of Pluto. It's literally like, and it'll come to you very slowly and might, I don't know how often it might happen, but because it's in retrograde. Retrogrades are very powerful, but there's a sort of a power struggle within yourself that you find, or maybe you still do, when it comes to like venturing out. And this is probably also why it's made you question, like, oh, how should I adapt to this? Because I see here 3 degrees. Oh no, it's not even affect. It's not even connected to your sun, but definitely like it's still Earth, so change is kind of like it might take. It's still, it's not like I want sudden change. I'm okay with that. No, but you definitely don't enjoy it for sure, right? So, um, but any sort of aspect to the moon here. Let me see if there's. Oh, okay, direct right there. Ah, okay, I see why. Loss, wounding, losses, but integrating those pains into helping others, specifically when it comes to third house stuff, like connecting with them, giving information, providing information, um, sort of like any sort of sibling figure, brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever, right? Because Chiron, this is Chiron I'm talking to. Chiron was in Pisces. Chiron in Pisces is um, a questioning or a wounding of spirituality, wounding in where you're connecting to the divine and the outer world. It's like it's connecting to everything. So you were probably when you were younger, most likely because this happened in the third house, when you were a child, you felt kind of disconnected with any maybe even spiritual communities. Not exactly church as an organization, but maybe, but definitely like something to do with spirituality, idealism, things to do with dreams, your dreams, things to do with
Definitely.
and magic
I
as
mean, my
well.
my my family quit going to church when I was a little girl. We were removed from all spiritual communities when I was a little girl. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so that kind of carried on to probably later in life, where you had to learn how to balance these inner power struggles that you're feeling and seeing how what is that to the world now? How do people see me? And then so you had to go through that, right? So definitely like those power struggle with the emotions, but you knew how to work with that. You actually know how to because it's in conjunct. You're basically like as one of these astrologers, Stephen Forrest says, it's like having a PhD. When you have a conjunct, it's having like this PhD of you just know what to do with it. So you know how to handle
Right.
these emotions, and you know how to eventually you know how to balance that and work with that pain. You have to integrate. Chiron is actually an asteroid that orbits the sun in between Saturn and Uranus. Saturn is form. Saturn is matter. Saturn is karma. Saturn is the choices we make on a very earthly plane. And if we don't discipline ourselves and work through timing and work with time itself and like obtaining wisdom through just being patient and disciplined, and you know, creating limitations because it is necessary sometimes. If we don't do that, if we just break it apart, then our wounding becomes like sort of like this stuck thing, and then we're stuck in Saturn. We're not able to transform and to revolutionize into Uranus, into our own Uranus self, like our own journey towards change. Right? So we just get stuck. We just get stuck. Here's a roadblock. Yeah, Chiron's like saying, you need to work through your pain. You need to work through those limits. You need to
Right.
work through this. Yeah. So, but you knew how to work with that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else there. Square. No, no, that's not it. Technically, your moon was, I guess you could say, square. I don't know. No, no, it's not square. It's right here. It's a trine. Trine is not that important. Like you just know how to work with your moon, and you're quite, you know how to work with your emotions that make you find things that make you happy, specifically pertaining to the sixth house, like servitude. This is servitude.
Right.
This is a house of health. This is a house of habits, things that you make into habits, things that you do that turn into routine. This is also called the house of the unconscious, meaning because it becomes mundane, sort of you like.
Like
So
a rote memory.
yeah, exactly. So when you become too comfortable with anything, and all of a sudden some sudden changes happen, you're like, oh, what? Yeah. So trines are kind. That's why I don't really talk a lot about trines, but they are helpful in a way where it's like I tell people, watch out. It's a comfortable placement. It means that you are good
Right.
with this. But then if something changes, like oh, that's what Pluto's doing here. It's like Pluto's going like wake up, but it's inside
Yep.
because wake up. So um,
Nice.
your sun was in Taurus, but opposite to Neptune in retrograde. Woo, that's heavy. Neptune in retrograde is internal idealism, internal transformation, transcendence within what you believe more about yourself. But it happens at the very subconscious level, or probably things that you kind of like, swept under the rug and said, okay, well, I'm not going to deal with this maybe because it's not making me happy. It's not giving me joy. It's not giving me pleasure. It's not giving me this sort of like stability. And it was like,
Right.
ugh. So it could be possible that you probably also had either could be nightmares or dreams about these. Not really sure. But Neptune pulls at both your Sun and Venus right here. So Venus rules Taurus. So therefore, Venus rules your Sun. So Venus is all
Right.
about pleasure. Venus is what you enjoy the most. It's charm. It's sensuality. It's sexuality, but in not sex itself. It's sexuality.
Right. Right.
It's in Taurus. It feels right at home. It likes to be comfortable. It goes like okay, but then Neptune goes like, is that really you? Is that really what you want? Is that your ideals? What? So you're getting this. Probably you got downloads through
Right.
dreams, so your subconscious got like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So you had to learn how to balance that. Dig really fucking deep into your subconscious and say, Neptune, what are you trying to send to me? What is this? What is idealism? Does it have to be perfect? No, maybe not. But does it have to be imperfect? No, maybe not. Maybe it's both. Does it have to be stable? No, maybe not. Maybe it does have to change? Maybe not. To balance those two energies. You got Scorpio there.
That
It's just
must be why I studied dreams for so long.
there you go. Yeah. So there you go.
It's
So
possible.
yeah. One last thing I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna turn over the thing to you.
Yep.
Um, if you want. I mean, I'm more like doing this. I like doing this. So your North Node. This is what people often call as your destiny. It's not really destiny because that means that you don't really have a choice. But yeah, it's your soul contract. You chose this. But North Node is opposite of your South Node. And South Node isn't really here, but South Node is invisible because it's given. When we see a chart and we see the North Node, which looks like, I don't know, sorry, I don't know if you could really see it, but the North Node It's the head of the dragon. The dragon represents journey of your path, your life paths, past lifetimes, and
Yeah,
also
tell me
this.
about my North Node.
So North Node,
Tell
you
me about my North Node.
your North Node is very much like in same place, maybe not the same degree. I don't know of Aaron's. So you and Aaron have very similar, basically North Nodes because his is also
Aaron
Virgo.
Dowdy.
Yes, his is in Virgo. I did not do
That
his
would
chart.
that would
Sorry.
maybe that's why I'm doing meditation. Maybe I'm just following that path. Maybe we're in more alignment than people realize.
Hmm. There's a lot of people here with. There's several people I talked to. I just talked to Brenda, who said yes to the reading. She has North Node in Virgo. The other one
Oh
before her,
wow.
Carl from Sweden, he also has North Node in Virgo. I have North Node in Leo, so, but that's a different story. um, so North Node in Virgo people are people who kind of find it challenging to be a little bit more technical and be more grounded and more like action takers. To just kind of make it more about Earth. It's more about the it's kind of it's service put on earth. It's compassion put on earth. It's because that's what your natural skills are. You know how to be compassionate with people. You know how to you have a spiritual awareness. You have a connection to your God. It comes naturally to you. But now it's time to share it with others through servitude, through providing actual information, through even like possibly like science itself too, like being a little bit more, like I said, grounded. So
Mm-hmm.
it could be that I don't know because you have Mars here. I saw this right here. Mars in Pisces. You have this pull of assertiveness, in initiative, probably even aggression, or just like a willpower that goes towards more towards your past lives. Like it might make you kind of in a way maybe at least before, especially with like your fourth house, like with your family, you probably have felt like you were kind of just what do you call this? I don't. Hmm. So Mars is action. Mars is the will, is willpower, is the urge to act. It's in the fourth house. It's family that is very much like go 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 get it, go get it, action action action, go go go. So you kind of came from that household where and your south node basically went along with this too. So you kind of were like in a way stuck and just like I'm going with what my family want. I'm going with what they believed in. I'm going with what my
Right.
ancestors believed in. And it ties right into like south node is your past. But but be careful, don't completely let that go. You take the gifts from your past and you bring it into the present. You have to be at the head of the dragon looking forward into the unknown and finding that courage and saying, that's okay.
Right.
In this case, it's less be less up in the clouds, but more down here. But
Right. Right.
use that knowledge. See, now we're talking Virgo. You want to use the knowledge from there and to share it with the others in servitude, particularly
Right.
as your career, as your it affects. It's a new reputation that unfolds now. It's a different reputation. It's not super like 3D ego. It's becoming like a healthier ego. It's like as Eckhart puts it, your vertical with the horizontal. This is now your Virgo right here. Your horizontal, I mean your vertical is you're used to that. You decide to bring it down here and appreciate what you already
Right.
have
Right.
here. Yeah. So there, that's a gist about the whole thing.
That's intense. That's actually really accurate. That's true.
Hmm, okay, I hope so. um, that's a
It is.
that's a general thing. I mean, if you have any specific questions about like any areas of your life, you can always message me and we'll do the more specific stuff. But I guess because
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
you're welcome.
That's actually very I have a friend that's a Leo that when I first started doing all my readings and everything online, he sent me my baby picture. He sent me this. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? He said,
Seriously? Okay.
yeah,
Oh my
he
god.
said to me, yeah, he said it was my baby picture. And
Okay, that
he
makes
said
sense.
to me, He said, one day you'll get into it and you'll understand, and it can really tell you a lot about yourself. And I can't wait to tell him that his name is Billy, somebody that I knew in Boston. But I'll be like, you were so fucking right. You have no clue. Because he sent it to me, and I'm like, what the hell does all this mean? The only thing that I could glean from it was that I had a Scorpio rising. That was
Okay,
it.
okay, that's okay.
That was all I knew. That was it. But it's very interesting to see how accurate it is, and to know that that North Node in Virgo makes my life make a whole lot more sense. And what you were saying about Cirrus and everything, down below in my other house down here that's squared, it just everything starts to make it just all makes sense. It just pulls it all together.
Mhm.
It really
See,
does.
soul
It's nice
contract.
to know I'm not fucking insane.
No, I like the fact that you
So,
have. I like the fact that you had Lilith though. Lilith here is your Lilith conjunct your what you call it, Nadir. Your
mhm.
family, your role in the family was quite challenged to become like your own,
Yes,
like free, like fuck everything kind of like that's Lilith. Lilith was, Lilith was,
yes,
yeah. So, and there you go.
yes,
So that
yes.
the rebellious self kind of just came out in a more like spiritual rebellious way. Like, you're
It
like it's
did.
spicy. Yeah. So, and plus it was, well, there was also Chiron there as conjunct your Nadir. So you knew how to also work with that. It was an active Chiron, so it's not retrograde, so it's not like repeating itself. It's probably kind of come and gone, but it might come back. Specifically, if you have a Chiron return. A return is when,
Mm.
you know what a return is. You've heard of those?
No,
It's
no,
okay.
I do not.
You kind of have an idea though. We're like Chiron. When you have a sun return, it means it's your birthday. So it just,
Right.
yeah. So a solar return is what really what's called. Then
That's
there's
what I figured you meant. That's why I said,
that's
like, yeah,
yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
that means that this thing, it's a new horizon. It's a new sort of like, it's not exactly change per se, but yeah, it's like a new sort of like, oh,
So maybe I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. Maybe I'm finally on the part of my path that makes it all make sense.
yeah, yeah, it is.
Maybe.
At least in this,
Never know.
yeah, exactly. You never know. Earth is just, we're on school, Earth school. So yeah.
It wasn't until recently where I had this vision where, you know how people say, like, we're spiritual beings having a human experience? And I was like, no, 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 no. We're not down here to learn how to be humans. We're down here to learn how to be spiritual again.
Hmm.
And then it wasn't until like the day before yesterday when I had my first vision of like all these spiritual beings saying, I want to go to Earth. Let's go see what I can do on fucking Earth. And it was the first time I thought, I was like, oh, maybe this is Earth school.
Mhm.
Maybe we really are spiritual beings having this human existence instead of spiritual beings coming and teaching humans how to be spiritual beings, like it's just it was the very first time I saw it from a different perspective. It was really kind of weird. It was neat though. Yeah,
Very
I'm
good.
a bit bizarre.
That's fine.
So, Jose,
Hmm.
I wanted to do a reading for you. We can do it another time, but what
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
reading would you like?
I'm not sure what to usually ask, but I guess I don't know. Am I also like kind of following the same path? Because I've been trying to be more creative. My North Node is in Leo, so for me, it's all about being childlike and just curious, but also finding that strong courage to stand out there. But because I'm used to always being there for others, because when you have the South Node in Aquarius, it's the opposite. Aquarius is always it's the people, it's the people, it's the people. So now it's more
Right, yeah, yeah.
like no, it's bring it inwards, and just shine and just shine like the fucking sun, right? So, but I feel like I've been getting messages, but I feel like there's times where it's like it's a little slow, and then reminders like I wrote a post that's like, oh, mom, my mom said, it's like, yeah, in 12 years you'll be a senior, and I was just like, I kind of just accept. I just processed it through physically, and I said, okay. I went like this to her, and I said, Mom, you, you worry too much. So I was like, okay, but thank you.
So you're in your 50s?
No, 40s, 43.
All right. So the next time your mom says that, say, Mom, I want you to know I met this lady. She's 63 years old. And at 63, she put all her shit in storage and went and changed her life.
Mm.
That would be me,
There you go.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, don't use the cuss words. Maybe say it a little bit easier to your mom. But
Well, I did.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're just never too old. I
No,
had
you're not.
I was on a 5-year plan prior to getting COVID. I went to school as a single parent for occupational therapy, and I was doing well, and I had my 5-year plan for my retirement. And when I got COVID, it just, I don't know, what does Matt say? The universe is baseball bat or whatever the hell. I don't know what he
Yeah,
says.
it's like, wake up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, COVID did that to me.
Mm,
COVID did. But when I got COVID, though, it was like the best. Granted, I'm still a long hauler and I'm still, coming back and getting my health back. But COVID was definitely a wake up call from the universe. The baseball bat or whatever knocked me out of left fucking field and took everything else and put me on a path that finally feels right.
mhm,
Like, so now I'm like, bring it on, whatever the fuck, bring it on. Let's just keep going.
mhm,
Yeah, and
mhm.
that's why I want to do a reading for you. Have you ever had a reading done?
Not with tarot. No,
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 never.
no.
Are
With
you serious?
was it?
Never.
Was it even tarot? I'm not even sure if it was tarot. I was told that in a past life, or I was mostly an animal guide, or animal guide in previous lives. That's why I feel
Oh,
kind of out of
okay.
place. Yeah. So yeah.
That would make sense. I'm trying to, I don't know if I have my other book with me right now, but I want to do a reading for you if you're okay with that, but
Yeah.
not tonight, but
Yeah.
on
No. No. No.
another day.
If it doesn't feel like it, yeah, sure, that's fine.
No, no. I mean, it's 7:30 and with my whole brain is with the VIP, the mastermind. So,
That's fine.
but I want to do a complete reading for you, but I'm being called. I'm telling you, they want me to pull a freaking card for you.
Okay.
And I don't know where my book is. Oh, wait, I found it. They're
Okay.
telling
Ooh.
me to pull like this medicine card for
Oh
you.
my god. Okay, I'm getting goosebumps.
My guides. When I say them, I mean
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
guides.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome.
The voices in my freaking head. The ones
So
that tell me all kinds of things. But here, bear with.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
going to shuffle them up. Let's just see. And then I do want to do a reading for you. So give us like I don't know, a couple hours, an hour and a half, couple hours, and I want to do a real in-depth reading for you. All right. So when do
Mm,
you think maybe next weekend or
uh, what do you want to? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, Friday is still okay, but I mean, does it matter what day?
well,
Because
how about tomorrow? Well, no, tomorrow night won't work for me. Monday,
we could
I
do
think I'm still in Austin.
we could do tomorrow
And
morning.
then what's that?
We could do tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
You said
Tomorrow morning, if we do it early enough, absolutely.
how
Because I
early?
have mastermind at 11.
Oh, okay.
So we'd
Okay.
have to meet at like, you know what? Why don't we do it Monday morning, 9 a.m.?
Sure. Yeah. Got it.
I
Today.
think, what time is that for you though?
I think you're an hour ahead of me, so that means I'm
So that would make it 8 a.m.
8 o'clock.
That's
That's
really
fine.
early.
No, no, that's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, let's do 9 a.m. on Monday, but let me get this card for you because they're telling me to.
Sure.
And now they won't get any rest if I don't. So hold on.
And let me know if
It's a
you.
full moon tonight, too. You know that,
I know.
right?
Yeah, it is. I actually,
And,
I finally re-download this app that is like, like looking at the moon phases because I was like,
uh-huh.
why did I like remove this? I was like, I'm gonna really download this, and I should pay attention to that. Not should, but like it's like there's something that had to like I had to just do it because I was like, it'll be a new moon on November 13th. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah.
I it was so bad at the mastermind, right? We were like, so you want to go to lunch? I'm like, I got to go do a video in my car. I forgot to put out my full moon video. I got to go do a video.
Okay.
So I gotta wait. I gotta wait until these are done. They're
Sure.
just not. They're not ready yet. But yeah, so it was crazy. So that's what I did at lunch. I didn't have lunch with anybody. I went out to my car and made a video for the full moon. That's what I
I
did,
gotta. I
and
didn't
then
see
went
that.
back in. And,
Did you post it already? I haven't seen it yet.
yeah,
Oh, okay, I'll
yeah,
take a look at it.
on
Okay.
my YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah. I have you on my YouTube. I'm following you. I'm
Yeah,
subscribed to
my
you. That is.
YouTube.
Mhm.
These cards are acting weird as fuck. Hold on. But yeah, so I posted it during our lunch break. I like, fuck it. I can't wait to get back to my YouTube channel. You know, I've been doing TikTok live,
Oh,
9 every morning, Monday through Friday. I do mindful meditation on TikTok live
nice,
with card pools.
nice.
And because I don't really have the internet to do all my videos the way I was being in my car and traveling, I've been all over the United States
Yeah,
the past 3 months.
yeah. Totally fine.
I won't do it when they pull up like that. So there we go. See, there we go.
Okay.
I have to wait till my guides tell me it's okay. So we do it the same way all the time. If one of the cards comes up, I know they're not ready. So
Oh,
let's see
really?
what your card is. I
Okay.
can't. So excited. That's what I thought. 22, Beaver. I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
Says, this is what they're saying. This is the type of medicine you need to bring to your own business right now, to your own endeavor, is what they're saying. Okay. So, and I don't know these cards by heart. It's a relatively, I've had the deck for about 6 months,
Okay.
but let's see what this beaver medicine is. These cards are great. I love these cards. And they're generally right on target with what we need when I pull them for somebody. So, beaver, just so you can see it.
That's okay, but that's okay.
All right. So, teach me to build my dreams, including others too. One mind, one thought, hearts as one. Lessons learned from you. Beaver is a doer in the animal kingdom. Beaver medicine is akin to water and earth energy and incorporates a strong sense of family and home. If you were to look at the dams that block woodland streams, you would find several entrances and exits. In building its home, beaver always leaves itself many alternative escape routes. This practice is a lesson to all of us not to paint ourselves into corners. If we eliminate our alternatives, we dam the flow of experience in our lives. A doer is characterized by industriousness, and Beaver knows that limitation cancels productivity. Beaver is armed with sharp teeth that are capable of felling whole trees. Imagine what those teeth could do to the limbs of predators. From the rear, beaver is armed with a paddle-like tail that aids in swimming as well as in guarding its behind. This tiny mammal is well equipped to protect its creation. To understand beaver medicine, you might take a look at the power of working and attaining a sense of achievement. In building a dream, teamwork is necessary. To accomplish a goal with others involves working with the group mind. Group mind constitutes harmony of the highest order without individual egos getting in the way. Each partner in the project honors the talents and abilities of the others and who and knows how to complete the piece of the puzzle that belongs to them. In working well with others, a sense of a community is achieved and unity ensues. If beaver has appeared in your spread, it may be time to put your ideas into action or to complete some project that has been neglected. The beaver card could also be asking you to settle differences with fellow workers or friends. Beaver tells you to look for alternative solutions to life's challenges and protect the creations which you put your love and energy into. Sometimes Beaver brings you a warning to watch your back. If this is your message, you'll know it by the position in which the card falls in your spread. If the card falls in the south position, it is to remind your child self that trusting is okay, but caution is necessary. Using discernment and all will be fine. And we are going to go that it was within the south. So, and it's a reminder to let your child know that it's okay to trust. I don't know what you're going through, but there's a message coming through for you to everything's going to be okay. That the choice that you made not long ago is actually, I, it's got to make everything fall into line. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it's your message. So, whatever decision you made a week and a half ago, whatever decision it was the right decision for you.
Can I share it
I
with
don't know
you?
what the fuck that means, but okay, there you go.
Thank you, thank you. No, I really do appreciate that. Can I
You
share it with
have you
you?
been making some decisions lately?
Uh, a week ago was when, well, technically it was like beginning of this week, so kind of ish. A week ago, I was with my parents. That's the time I was with my parents, and I decided to just go out. But I also went out because I was like, I want to get myself a flag, as I love flags, and
Well, there you go.
flags to me represent what I strive to, not strive, oh yeah, strive to go for because I love foreign things. I don't know. I mean, astrologically speaking, I have Neptune and Mars in my fifth house, so it's like anything to do with foreign stuff. It's in Sagittarius, so I'm just like, oh, and now, so yeah, go ahead.
When when did you post this in school about doing readings? When did you post that?
Is that a week ago? Let me think. Oh, I'm gonna take a look.
About a
Actually,
week and a half ago?
probably a week and a half ago. Let me do. What did I put here? Astral reading or something.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did has anybody done a reading back for you?
no, not yet. 9 days ago.
All right, so a week and a half ago. I'm thinking it has more to do with you haven't sold these yet?
No,
Your readings, your astro
no,
readings, you
no, not
haven't
yet.
tried to sell them yet?
No, not yet. I'm just kind of like,
Why? Are
I
you not trusting yourself?
no, because I'm not sure. It's just, I don't know. It feels like, I don't know, because I'm
I
like,
think that's what this is all about, hon. That the
hmm,
whole thing here and the message is trust what you're doing. You're doing really good here. You are right on target.
okay,
I
thank you.
don't know, like, you have your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah,
And the readings that you've been doing for all of us, have you put them up on your channel?
I put up two of you're the third one. You'll be the third one.
Well, I'll share yours to my channel too. My YouTube channel is a little dormant right now, but
Okay,
I'll talk about you on TikTok too. I
okay,
really
thanks.
think this just when it talks about trusting your inner child, knowing that this is right for you, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay,
Whatever the decision was that you made, and I really think it has to do with these readings and
okay.
not being with your parents, but I really think it has to do with these readings that you need to trust that you can do really good things with this.
Okay.
Like you can really help people along their path, and you just need to trust your heart on it,
So that's the heart.
and it
That's
can
the
be.
heart. So I felt like I should actually expand on what happened there because I wanted to. It was like a short video, yes, that's fine. But it was, yeah, I feel like I wanted to also share what I got from it because I felt like there was just more to be said. And I'm not going to exaggerate on it or anything. I'm not going to do whatever, but whatever I feel like talking about it, it'll come out. And so, yeah. In the case, so here goes. Okay, so here is a chart that I was using for this person. for, let's see. Okay, so I think we left off from, because we were talking more naturally, talking about sharing our experiences and our lives and all that stuff. And you're talking about how the person got this conjunct right here, right? There's something about the moon that I wanted to say, because the moon is not just the vibrations, it's not just the stuff that I mentioned in the recording with the live recording. It is also about, where's this one here? Okay, so it is, so it's okay. So family principle, mother, wife, project. Okay, it's also about like nourishment, how when we get nourished from the whole thing. So nourishment in the 10th house, or stuff with the moon, you know, with this fluctuation, instinct, moods, all that stuff. It is also about feeling like you, how do you call this? It's said to be like, I guess, elevated in the 10th house, because it's career, it's reputation, it is your, like I said before, it's your ego, it's your, let me put some things more into perspective here. So a community, it's your greater, it's what you expand onto, it's your ambition, of course, right? I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Government, authority figures, authority over you. Success is how the world sees and evaluates you. Influence you have exert on your own circle. Church as an organization. This also goes into the parent that, as you grow older, the parent that is basically the breadwinner for you, or like the one who is the one that financially takes care of you. So it's physical nurturing, material nurturing, more than the opposite, which is the 4th house, which is emotional nurturing, and all that stuff, right? So with the moon there, which is again about senses, consciousness, it's your subconscious, things that basically it's all not just about emotion but reactions as well, because it does rule through Cancer, the 4th house. So it is a reaction to what people say. So when it comes to the moon and Pluto conjunct there, it's the Pluto, as you can see right here, it is actually in retrograde. So when it's a retrograde planet, again, maybe there's a holding back of the energy of transformation and regeneration and healing, through peeling away of the truth and peeling away of the untruth, or even truth, yeah, like I said, peeling away of the untruth and peeling away of everything that is not genuine, that is not real, that is not revealing of your higher purpose. So when you have retrograde, it's kind of like it slows it down. It's as if it's like not blocking it. It is actually a withheld power. So it's inner power. It's a sort of people with Pluto in this generation, people who experience Pluto Virgo but retrograde, these people in that generation tend to go through inner power, like doubts of your inner power, doubts of where you fit in terms of like the great masses. And Pluto rules the masses as well, just like Saturn. So it is about figuring out what can I do to be whole and healthy, because Pluto rules viruses, bacteria, and fungi, all those yucky stuff like shit and taboos and the occult and things that are hidden, things that are criminal, things that are, anything to do with also like the narcissism. Was it the triad or something like that? Narcissism, Machiavellism, psychopathy, sociopathy. What else is there? There's the 5 dangerous things, like those kind of things. I think it's in psychology, but yeah, but it's also why it also rules psychology. Pluto is a planet of the psyche, basically, because it's the underworld. It's the darkness. It starts there. It's the kingdom of that. Pluto is the king of the Plutonian kingdom. Eris is under that category. So Pluto is there to cleanse through that, because higher vibration of Mars. So it's that, because if you look at Pluto, where its orbit around the sun is extreme. Right? Eris is more extreme, but I think Eris is. We're still trying to figure out what Eris is today, what part of the psyche she is. But with Pluto, it's the what do you call that? Extreme. It's just like it's while the planets are going this way, right? It's an eccentric orbit. It goes like this way. It's angled. So, and it's I think it's closer to the sun in a certain point. And so in certain signs, they stay longer than other signs. So what that means on a more 3D earthly kind of interpretation of that would be that Pluto goes on extremes. So there's probably like extreme inner powerlessness or powerfulness, and there's a bit of that. No, I wouldn't say bit. That's a way like an understatement. But Pluto goes through that process of like it needs a fucking mold. It needs to be like torn apart, and it's like, but it's because it's internalized. It feels pretty heavy for these people. It feels pretty like not out there. Like people with regular Moon Pluto conjunction are able to work with their emotions and feel the power within the emotion they feel. People with Pluto in retrograde conjunct the Moon have a tendency to feel like they are not only the ostracized, the outcast, but it feels like they're just going to be stuck there, right? They're just going to be like, ah. So in this case, this person told me earlier, she's like, I've been like isolated for like a while, as you probably already seen in the video, for a long time. And this explains why. It's isolated from your aspirations, your hopes, your dreams, basically your ninth house is kind of like your future. It's where you experience the optimism of the Sagittarian / Jupiter ruled house. It's this area of your life that goes, oh, okay, it needs to be, it kind of says, well, what's the truth that can happen here? Is this what you really want to proceed with? So Pluto kind of sets it's a catalyst for real inner core change. And so Pluto starts that off and says, because you experience, like with this person, she experienced a lot of changes and sudden change, expected change, transformation. It's this revolution. This is Uranus, all that stuff. But with Pluto there in the ninth house, it's almost like, okay, you experience those changes, but as you progress through, you notice this is 17 degrees Leo, but later on, it's still within the ninth house, but it's bordering conjunct the 10th house. So it's transitioning from that optimistic side to the whole like, let's make this a little harder. Kind of like the universe is going, like the cosmos are saying, let's make this a little harder for you so that way you can really learn and manifest what your true emotions are, what your nurturing side is, what your instincts are really telling you. And Pluto kind of brings that back and says, even though you're high up there, it's elevated Moon, it's in the 10th house, it's all about career, reputation, ego, things that, it's how the world sees you. It's the Pluto kind of says, basically Pluto is saying, I'm gonna fucking rape you. Sorry for people who've gone through this, but this is what it is. I'm gonna give you trauma that you will feel at the deepest inner level of your core, of your soul, which is technically also your moon, which is sun and moon are connected. But and bringing that back and says, that's not your career. That's not your career. That's not your aspiration. That's not where you're headed. We're going to give you more so that you go rock bottom until you see. Like if you look at also what they've discovered with Pluto, it's an icy planet, right? I think there's methane clouds or something. It's covered not on ice. You can't live there. It's toxic. It's literally toxic. So and Pluto rules toxicity. Pluto rules toxic stuff in our bodies, toxic things that are of no use whatsoever, right? If Pluto wants to be real, that's the key word there, genuineness, because power and genuineness are like, why do we have power? Why do we have this need for control. Well, basically because we're feeling powerless. But what is that? So Pluto, what Pluto does, it's a shadow, right? So Pluto reveals your dark side so that you can know your light. Pluto reveals to you what you're afraid of so that you can see that there is nothing to be afraid of. When you give into Pluto, when you give into the powerlessness of life, that you can't control things, that you can't be over, you are the power already. That's what Pluto is really saying. Pluto is like, you are the power already. You are from the universe. You are divine. You are God. You are infinite. You are eternal. So therefore, this eternalness of the process of emotion is just an earthly thing. And that's fine. Right? Divine. Right? Bringing in the vertical connected with the horizontal. These horizontal experiences through pain. So Pluto has a more, this is why Pluto, the moon, this is why the moon has the nodes. It talks about more than just a lifetime. This is inheritance. Moon rules inheritance. Moon rules DNA. Moon rules your ancestry. Moon rules inheritance, heritage, inheritance. What do you call that when you get many things that are passed down, basically. So it rules generations. It rules people. It rules people, just like the masses as well. So here it shows how the masses and the people that she's experienced with, she knew how to work with this, but it took her time because it was like, I have to retrograde it. I have to go back and say, go within, go within, go within, go within, go within, until finally, it's like, fuck it. She had to balance that with the struggles of the inherited, this is still fourth house, right? Like, especially with the individuality of Lilith here, the whole like, I can't be with that, I can't do this status quo thing, and this ties in because this is where she feels more at home with being able to, like she said in the video earlier, she now feels more at home with this ability to service and be of service to people and humanity, which is the masses right here, of using and balancing that with this, like right here, this opposition right here, right, to not only the fourth house and the fourth house cusp of the nadir all the way to the 10th house as well, but also to the 10th house or the midheaven. So what this is saying is that it's working with that pain, and Chiron is saying to welcome back to the pain. I know you can do this. I know you can reintegrate that and mix it with your own journey. So it was like this fucking awesome journey that she's been on, and it shows why it's like, but particular because it's in Virgo, I have to go deep into this one because it's Virgo. It's about what is perfect emotional, like, sensing sort of cleanliness, perfection, and the things that are very Virgo. What is that? So it's kind of peeling away that whole, like, instead of just being a virgin, being probably the opposite of the virgin, which is like, it's like, that's fine, whore it out. So it's like, that's fine. It's just like bluntness about it. I'm sharing my bluntness about it because it's like, Virgos, they want to be perfect, want to be so Pluto is saying that what you want ain't gonna cut it. What you want ain't gonna cut it. What you want is just like, okay, this is going to be more than just what the human perspective. And I believe that, like I said to her in the video, I said, because this is retrograde, this is gonna repeat and repeat and repeat. But this is like ties into the cleansing of the ego itself. It's 10 house stuff, right? So the North Node here, it's funny because it ties into the North Node as well, even though there's no aspect there. It's a North Node in the 10th house, so it's a lot to do with working with that ego, working with a healthier ego. So healthier, keep in mind, we're in Virgo right there, right? So, and it's funny because where Virgo rules the 6th house. I said earlier before, it's like, if you look at Virgo, you look at Mercury, and you'll also look at Chiron, but there's also the 6th house. Virgo rules the 6th house, so therefore, health that she had to go through, this explains why she's like, okay, there was the the COVID she caught. So it's like when she caught COVID, it's like this is awakening. So there's this change, right? You have Mercury here, right? It's in 2 degrees Taurus, conjunct, literally conjunct the cusp of her sixth house. So it kind of like there's this transition that was going to happen, and it's actually in conjunct. Well, there's a perfect, I guess you can say, yeah, sort of almost perfect, pretty perfect conjunction with her Venus, and to relate with herself and how she values and puts assessment, how she is, her esteem, her self-worth, her um, ability to process that Venusian sort of thing with expression. So expression of how she relates with her own self in the fifth house, specifically, yes, with uh, this what really is, what can be really enjoyed, right? So when we tie this into the node plus the 2 planets here, we're seeing that the conjunct of our Venus and Mercury to the sixth house is showing that the relationships she has with herself, with other people, mostly with herself, and her thoughts about herself and thoughts about all those things that are, how is that transmission? They're kind of similar. Venus and Mercury are kind of similar. They're very transmitty kind of planets, right? It's all about this and this. Okay? So, it's in Taurus, it's simplified. It's more like, let's bring this down to kind of like earthly things. So, any sort of earthly thing that you experience with Venus or with Taurus is expressed here. I want to kind of jump into this one a little bit more because I know that I can say more. So Taurus is all about patience, conservatism, domesticism, sensual thoroughness, stability, dependability, practicality, artistry, loyalty, comfort oriented, this kind of thing. So it's a lot to do with Earth. Like there's nothing more we can say. Earth. Taurus is Earth. Okay, literally Taurus is Earth. With Venus there, it shows a lot of like how there's relatedness, the relatability, relationship, attraction, eroticism, sensuality, sex, so to speak, intimacy, rivalry, covetousness. So things that it's ruled, but it's really ruling the second house, so it's earning power. But in this case, because Venus is in conjunction with Mercury, it's all about experiencing the sensuality of communication, sensuality of transmission, the beauty of being able to express oneself, the expressing one's thought, expressing one's, let's look into the deeper here, ability to be flexible, dexterity, perception, right, coordination, speech, what do I call this? Mental cerebral capacity, adaptability and changes to the environment, communication, of course, awareness, yes. So rationality, words, and sensory perception, short travel, siblings, all those kind of things. So basically that transmission thing. But it also rules money, money like transaction, general money transactions, trade, of course, and transmission thing. So this whole process of Venus, Mercury being in Taurus, conjunct the sixth house, ties into how it ties into the North Node, and actually the 2 planets right here, is because it's in Virgo, is that her health had to be kind of had to go through some sort of transition to understand that it's like, I'm more than just my beliefs and thoughts about myself and worth. So that it kind of goes, because there is a transition in from the fifth house to the sixth house where you have to take it more seriously and say, instead of just having fun, instead of just, going through the self-expression of myself and how I relate with others, to the fifth house, meaning through having fun, the joy and the childlikeness, we have to be a little bit more serious and say, let's jump to the sixth house and say, what can we learn from this? What can we bring down into more of the DNA level, more of the instinctual level, what more of like your in there, the earthly level, meaning like your health, your body, I believe it has something, because so Venus rules They're just getting into medical astrology here. Venus rules. Look, kidneys. So something to do with the health there with the kidneys and of course the arms. So Mercury is the arms right here. So something to do with the endocrine system. I'm not really sure if that's the endocrine system. Something to do with retaining things. So this water, kidneys retain waters, right? So kidneys actually filter water. It helps you to filter. So there's a sort of a cleansing effect that had to happen. This explains why, that there's something to do with that here. With her health had to be kind of like, let's move in from that point to the sixth house. But the sun here rules the heart. Right? Sun is the ruler right here. Sun is ruling her sixth house. So it's more about the sun in this case. And as you can probably see, it goes through right here. And when she experienced, it's trine her moon. So she was definitely able to go through. She naturally has this ability to balance what she wants and what she needs. Her basic instinctive, natural, nurture, mother-like, mothering needs with her vitality and her energy and all that stuff. What Pluto is trying to do here is trying to go, let's wake up, kind of thing, right? So, yeah. But the sun is the one that she said had to go through that energy and bring. This is why explains why later in life, in this case, reputation she was going through in older years, which is like, of course, the 10th house. 10th house is also related to Saturn because it's ruled by Saturn, Capricorn. It has to do with like older age, has to do with. This is why when she got COVID, it was like, okay, it's time. This is a time to wake up. This is a time to say, let's bring out the truth. So it started even early, way back before that. So that's why there's that isolation. But definitely like Pluto brought into her life like not only the truth but also waking up, awake awareness and awakeness and all that stuff. All that good stuff, wonderful stuff. Like and figure out like what is this? Like so in a way because it went through some sort of cleansing and awakening is a sort of a cleansing, right? You're trying to get rid of the things that don't fucking work anymore, and Virgo is there and going like, okay, with Virgo there, it's like, okay, now it's coming back. It's like, okay, now it's real purity. Now it's a little bit pure. So not the idealized or the conceptualized Pluto. I mean the conceptualized Virgo, conceptualized cleanliness, conceptualized perfection, conceptualized servitude, conceptualized anything fucking Virgo. Okay, so that's what she's definitely going through. And it's, life is a process. What else was there? So I noticed that this is something I didn't include in the actual video, but right here we have a trine, a beautiful trine. So ability to definitely trine, you got like sort of the shifting trine. Comfort with the, let me remove that here. Comfort with the ability to, or when I say comfort, I mean like this, because this is a harmonious aspect. So you got this trine, Pluto Moon conjunct, trine Jupiter, trine Venus Mercury conjunct, Venus Mercury conjunct in Earth. So we have here an earthly trine. It's a beautiful trine with the Earth sign. So it's definitely like, with Jupiter in retrograde, you can see here, with Jupiter in retrograde here in Capricorn, Jupiter retrograde holds back the optimistic side and kind of grounds it even more and says, okay, let's take a look at what Jupiter has to. Is that faith? Is that real faith? It's almost like Saturn coming in to go, dumb it down a little bit. Jupiter. Okay, so Saturn in a way kind of comes in, but in fact Saturn rules her Jupiter. Saturn rules her ability to, plus it's in retrograde, so it's even more like held back, but it's like an inner strength that she's able to have. It's an inner optimism, it's an inner faith, inner, what else? There's like a bunch of other things that Jupiter was here. Inner creativeness, inner generosity, inner opulence, inner conscience, inner cheerfulness, inner joviality, inner the lawlessness probably as well, extravagance. So um, prudence, but prudence in a way that is a little bit more than just prudence. I don't know what else is more than prudence, but basically, um, so this ability to feel prosperous both from within, the inner sort of like ability to see where are my real riches right here. It rules, Jupiter rules her second house, right? So we go into that, and we definitely go into Saturn here because it rules her Jupiter. But Jupiter right here is not even aspect to her Jupiter. And the Saturn, I mean, doesn't aspect it, but it still rules it and it's right here at home. Saturn is right here. Um, but Saturn was actually kind of like I don't know what to call this one, but it's like a split conjunct. I don't know. One side it's like Vesta, and one side is Pallas Athena. So Pallas Athena definitely has given her that wisdom to see where duties and responsibilities lie, the karmic cycle, the karmic processes or karmic choices she would have to make. So Pallas Athena in Capricorn brings about that whole like, I'm going to show you if you listen, right? If you listen from high above, and which she has been doing. So that's why it's a natural ability. It's a trine, right? What else does we say about Vesta here? Devotion. Oh no, that's not Pallas Athena. Okay, wisdom, attitude, creative, learning, science, diplomacy, tact, social justice, to your higher self, horizontal, vertical. This is the one I was talking about. Trusted guidance, inner intelligence and wisdom, inner knowledge. You just know. The intuition with instinct, because she was like, Pallas Athena was like Athena. She was the goddess of wisdom. She was also goddess of weaving. What does weaving represent? Connections. Everything is connected. It's a tapestry of the fucking universe that's in us, right? Strong-willedness, discernment, gender balance, actually. So capacity to ascertain mental urges, capacity for, well, other stuff like craftsmanship, that's part of the weaving thing. Being able to use intellect with intuition, right? Advances in how to fight, or figuratively or literally. So skillful manipulation, defense over offense. Okay, she wasn't like her brother Aries. It's funny because Aries has also Eris or Eris, right? Yeah, right, or discord. Controlled strength, underdog, capacity to unify, capacity to be one with, right? Underlying connectedness again. So the tapestry of life. Tapestry of life. So, but plus Vesta is there. Vesta is all about that purity thing, which ties back into Virgo, which goes really well with her moon and Pluto in Virgo. Okay. So we got devotion, we got commitment, morality, spiritual rituals, domesticity, health protection, holiness. So basically it's also Kundalini, by the way. It is sexual energy, chastity, okay, potential. It's about potential as well. Spiritual past, suppression, expression of sexuality, pursuits, insistingness. I came up with this one. Fervor, studiousness, fealty, fidelity, dedication, intensity, reverence, zeal, ardor, constancy, consecration, sanctity. Anything to do with that kind of thing. It sounds very Virgo, right? So, but yeah, so with this trine right here, I'm going to do that again. I'm pointing more towards Venus, Mercury here. But yeah, so there's that trine there. But with the other trine, sort of not really. It's kind of like you have this one right here, this one right here. You have this right here between Saturn, North Node, and Sun. But what I'm referring to is the fact that you have this trine first, right here. That's the one that really connects. There's a flow between the planets there. So definitely, so the ability to naturally expand and slowly do it so internally, and it's kind of like internally processed, with the ability to express one's worth in with relationships with others, romantic relationship that's also with children, but pertaining more towards health and how you express your how you communicate, express, and transmit a healthier self with the ability to see where your reputation is going. Because if you don't cleanse that reputation, if you don't cleanse your ego, have a healthier ego, that Venus ain't going anywhere. That, it's like, especially with Mercury there, Mercury rules Virgo. It's like almost like you can't express that anymore. You can't be able to be more childlike. It's the this childlikeness has to come out, but it has to be cleansed first internally. That's where the instinct of Pluto cleansing moon is internally. Plus with Jupiter going, yeah, let's expand this, but let's kind of hold back a little bit and see where that expansion comes from within. It's almost like an inpansion. I don't know if that makes sense. Instead of expansion, it's like inpansion. I don't know if that makes sense, right? So inpansion is like a growing inside. So she had to go through. She definitely naturally is able to do that. So with this, like, I can do it. I can do it. I can definitely do it. And you can tell by the way she talks, by the way she does her YouTube videos. I'm going to link a kind of description below and share with you her channel. I'm going to put it in the description, but if you guys want to follow her, her name is Simon. I'm sure I didn't ask for permission, but I'm just going to do it anyways. And I'm sure she's okay with that. But anyway, so yeah, so Saturn rules her Jupiter here, so it definitely affects the flow between the other 4 planets outwards, right here, like, I don't know if you can see it right here. Outwards this way, and then outwards, and then outwards that way. Okay, bloop, bloop. How it all flows. And seeing where Saturn plays a role here. Because Saturn is a limiter. Saturn is like the limits to show us what we need to work more on. It's almost like a retrograde, but retrograde is just like, it's just kind of like slowed down rather than halted. Saturn is like, it halts, it says, wait a second, stop. What's missing here? What's missing? Because it's karma, right? It's the Lord of Karma. He's the one that says, are you sure you're making the right choices? Because you want to build more karma? You want to build more like unconscious behavior rooted accidents? Or do you want to transition and say, what do you have to process? What do you have to heal? What do you have to go through? What do you have to build? Maybe you don't need to build anything. You can stop building and say, okay, right? Vesta's there to also protect that and say, yes, to commit to that, right? But again, these are all trines. These are all natural stuff. I do see here a square to Mars. So definitely that sort of aggressiveness or assertiveness or sort of like crude thing that goes on with her family that she experienced with the North Node kind of pulling her. There was like this, I suppose, this is pull to be more than what she was when she was younger, but as she was still growing up, definitely like Mars was going like, here had Pisces, it was like kind of going in a sort of like, here this is, we talked about it in the video, but then it's like, well, I'm supposed to feel more than that. I'm supposed to feel the fact that I have to be more grounded here. She's like an earth guardian, an earth spirit, an earth, this is why she's like, what to say into, but she can sense things. I find that earth signs, I've told this to other people, like, I find that a lot of earth signs that when they're really super grounded and connected with the earth, it's like Mother Earth is the universe is filtering the messages through Earth itself. I've met many Earth people, like Earth sign people and their sun, whatever it is, but there's some sort of connection with the Earth so that they can actually hear the voice. Like for me, I'm not like that. I'm like out there, right? So, anyway, so with Mars there, Mars rules the 5th house, which is not really applicable right now. So we're going to still talk about Mars here, because I forgot to mention this. That Mars square her Jupiter was kind of like in challenge to how she would naturally expand, naturally grow, naturally be able to have a sort of that sort of feeling like I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm headed. but Mars is going like, wait a second, right? It's kind of like it's not a go yet. So in a way, Mars here is kind of pulling it back. It's sort of like Mars is acting like Saturn in a way, right? Plus, because Mars was in Capricorn, so this like who he lottie do kind of like approach of Mars here, where emotions were all kind of just everywhere, right? Mars in Pisces, we know for people who've known been doing astrology for a while, Mars in Pisces is basically like just I don't know what to do kind of thing. There's emotional probably like confusion and illusions and delusions with what to do or what how one should act, and there's kind of a doubt of willpower. There's a certain like I don't know where this is going because I feel like I don't have a purpose yet, and Mars kind of feels like with Pisces there it's not sensing anything. Like right now I would say like right now I'm feeling something like if I were to have stops, it's almost like Mars would be opposite of Mercury, or rather Mars would be square Mercury with Saturn there, and somewhere in Pisces like it wants to go free and it can't like so that kind of feeling I know what that's like. Whereas Mars is like because of that square, but that challenge is means that he's definitely had to go through financial definitely had to do financial struggles and uh, disappointments, yeah, because it's like it grows a questioning of where one's growth is, because the family just goes, let's just go, let's just go, let's just go, let's trust, let's trust, but there's no groundedness to it, and this is why there was this like, it needed to be, the North Node wasn't even at play here. It's almost like it was all South Node. It was all fucking South Node. It was all like, and you could probably see here, 23 degrees North Node in Virgo. That means it's 23 degrees in Pisces right here, somewhere here. So that's a South Node right there. You can't see it, but it's there. So South Node conjunct, it was all about, that was the focus. There was this pull to just go, go, go without any direction. Right? So, especially with Jupiter there. So it's almost like the family inheritance was more like, let's just keep going, let's just have faith, but then it headed in the wrong direction rather than grounding it with like, let's see where the facts are. Let's see what we can do with experience. Let's see what we can get our hands on, get dirty or get clean, probably, but definitely clean, dirty. It's the same thing. Two sides of the same coin. So get dirty and down with like, do more, rather than just go with the flow, right? So our North Node is definitely was pulling at it, and there was like this sort of like, and she probably felt there was a sort of again probably internal resentment and sort of like emotional trap. It felt kind of like an emotional, like the anger was like it's inside. It's almost like it wanted to burst and just be like, what the fuck, man? Like it wants to be free, but it can't. There needed to be a balance. So now that there's a balance, now there's more of a balance. She's listening to her North Node more. She's going with the what she needs to work on. She's going with more about being more industrious about what needs to happen, having more patience, and having more earthly stuff that she kind of probably thought was more like definitely there, but it was more about probably like rejection, that it's like maybe some form of resentment, that it's like, well, I thought I'm earth. We do that all the time. It's like, I'm this, and the ego rationalizes, because the sun is also the ego, and also 10th house is ego. We rationalize and say, yeah, this is who I am, so fuck y'all. No, Mao, it's a healthier, like, that's okay. This is where you are, this is where I am. So now she's accepting the role of being able to go forth and go and just work on things without having to feel like, even though there's no right direct answers, like, or rather guidance, it's okay, because now she has earth combined with the what she's had, his natural talents, to be not only through compassion but also through like this ability to sense and be highly intuitive person. So you can tell that's why she does her tarot. She's very, this divination. Right? So there's that. What else was there? So Mars was in Pisces. So Any sort of ruler Mars, ruler Mars here. What rules for Mars? Where's Neptune? Where's Neptune? Okay, Neptune right here. We kind of talked a little bit about Neptune in the video earlier. That Neptune in retrograde is definitely like a questioning of uh, idealism, a questioning of what is true for you, what is true for where this is going to go beyond. How is this transcendent? But it's like instead of looking outwards, looking inwards. But because this is subconscious, it's almost like she's kind of didn't have that. So with with that opposite her sun, I already kind of explained in the video that it's like it's opposite her sun. So her sun was more of the ego thing going on. Neptune was just like side burner, kind of like, whatever. But now it's more like coming together and saying, just acknowledge what subconscious things she has to kind of like, it's like suppress. I mean, Neptune can also reveal to us what we suppress, because it's like when we get into like the magic of things too much, we are no longer grounded with the truth. It gets hidden. The truth is not revealed. So it's all about just idealism, illusions, delusions, magic, all that fantasy stuff. And it's like out of this world, and there's nothing tethering us down to earth. So now she's like, she needs to be tethered down to earth with a realer, more real, actual Taurian vitality, with appreciation, not greed, um, you know, uh, full worth instead of like looking for worth externally. It's internal worth, right? So here, when she opened up the 12th house, or I think she's still in the process of opening up, the Neptune is revealing to her. It's like, inner truth, inner idealism, inner revelations of what you need to transcend, and it's internal, it's subconscious. Actually, it's more like because this is the 12th house is subconscious. But going to how Neptune rules her Mars, right here, Neptune kind of, because it was in Scorpio, it was all about revealing power, right? Revealing how do we transcend this need for power? How do we transcend this need for being in control, being like just devouring everything, rather than allowing what is given to us and what we can use, how we can use power, how we can manage like the abuse and the use and misuse of power. What is that? What is the use of power? We don't use it, it uses us. In other words, elevated power that's in us, right? But because of this limitation of form, Pluto here rules her Neptune, and Pluto was in Virgo. So now it goes back to the Virgo thing again. So it's like, okay, groundedness, facts, a bit of science there, of course, naturally, yeah, but scientific facts, like not just science itself. It's not about the labels. It's about the cleanliness, or the cleansing of what is truly pure, right? So in this case, it's purifying the process of her Neptune, just subconscious, and saying, okay, you need to process it. So we got right there. You got like, oh, you got. Did something happen here? Okay, so something happened here. This happens once in a while. It saves and I didn't save it. But in any case, so we have here. What do you call this? Oh, we have this sextile right here. So naturally, she's able to process that anyway. So dig deep into her subconscious. But with sextiles, it is a potential aspect. So that means that it's like, it can happen, but you have to choose for it to happen. But it's a flowing aspect. So in a way, sextiles are there to like, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, here you go. So in any case, so Neptune rules her Mars. So that whole experience with that, even though she had all that sort of like la-di-da, whatever, it was brought to her attention at an earlier age that it's like, I probably should focus more inwards, right? So with, Mars is there being a little bit more Scorpion, so whatever, right? So it's more Scorpion. It's kind of like, okay, instead of just being Pisces and all everywhere, just bring it kind of down and kind of like, let's harden it a little bit more. Let's harden that water and be like, okay, what are these emotions that you've been going through? This anger, this anger, what is that? what is that trying to teach you, and what is that trying to show you? I've had this like experience where when you don't, it's part of the shadow thing, right? It is Scorpio. When you what we resist persists, right? So, and we know Pisces likes to escape, right? So it's about escapism, and it says like, Neptune says, like, okay, well, no, we need to ground that. So there's this pull. So because of that, now it kind of allowed for a release of that power, Scorpio, into her North Node, and go, okay. I think I've said all I can. There is Juno here. I didn't. The Juno is not that important in this here, but there's something about Juno. Juno is also commitment, like Vesta, but Juno here is showing that you can commit to your own idealism, your visions, and optimism within by appreciating what that means for you, right? There must have been some sort of commitment issues as well with the family, because I see here, even though we have here, 25 degrees, that's right, 25 degrees Mars, 28 degrees Juno, but Jupiter is right there. So instead of being able to naturally, happily, fortunately expand, Juno goes like, you need to commit to yourself, especially because here, you can't see it, but there's a retrograde there. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about Juno for now, because Juno isn't something I've worked with a lot. But what else is there? Yeah, we talked about most of it in the other video. Part of fortune, I kind of just do that, but apparently part of fortune is more related to horary astrology, so I'm not going to talk about that here. There's something about her 8th house that I don't know yet. It's something definitely transformative with being able to work. There are 2 Liliths right there. You can see it, right? Both in 29 degrees, actually. Almost perfect conjunction, because it's the minutes right here. 46 right there, and 39 minutes. So, but one is 30, both are 30, so technically it jumps into 30. Actually, all 3, there's enough, all Liliths are right here. Wow, okay. So I didn't even notice that. The transformation is basically towards the sign of Cancer, but it's in Mercury. So when there's like change that she's going through, the transformational change is going from less about knowledge, less about actually, because the decans of the signs have, there's 3 types, right? There's decans, don't know it. So Mercury goes through Gemini goes through its 10 degrees in Mercury, then 10 degrees in what's after Venus, technically, traditionally speaking, but I would say Eris for myself, and 10 degrees in Uranus. So definitely a bit of like that. It's definitely that change that is kind of unexpected. Changes in her ability to, or the urge to, challenges and urges to individualism, and definitely because it's Uranus right here, where Uranus is concerned, the last 10 degrees, right? It's transitioning into more like inward processing rather than just knowledge itself. It's funny because it's like, oh, well, what about her North Node? Isn't that sort of like knowledge too? Yes, but it's more internal rather than just up there kind of knowledge. It's like here, ground. So definitely an earthy water sort of thing, the earth sort of feel. It goes inwards, inwards, inwards. The journey towards the transformational house is accepting her own death, her dying. So in this case, it's the dying of the ego, of what is individualism, of what is like what do I need to get rid of, what do I need to change in terms of like my own femininity, my own wholeness, my own masculine and feminine, right? In this case, I would say that Lilith here comes together because it's like, it needs to be more about nurturing. It wants to be more about inner work, inner nurturing, inner yeah, inner self. It's like we have it in Cancer. Cancer rules the fourth house because you have Lilith here transitioning onto the eighth. It's still both are still in the eighth house, but it transitions to Cancer. It's like this change happening, and she goes through that. I think this, at least at the very least, she's had to go through this probably after something like marriage. So there's something to do with like the seventh house transitioning into the eighth house because of Lilith there. So this explains the separation. The divorce, right? So right there. So with Lilith there saying like, I'm okay. So but with this, because it's in Gemini still, and Gemini is ruled by right here. So she's had to realize that. That explains the COVID thing, or any sort of other illnesses she would have probably gone through. Maybe illness is an awakener for her in terms of like her relationship with her self-expression and self-worth, Venus, Mercury in the fifth house, to what is I need to less enjoy, so to speak, into because it's transitioning to the sixth house, but it's still in Taurus, so definitely like what is real, not just what is real, what is I don't want to say outer, so to speak, like an external sort of like externals, or like a released, or a relinquished. There you go. It's a relinquished trust in the unknown because it's going into the sixth house. There's something again. There's a shift going on, but Mercury's there, and Mercury rules Gemini. But Gemini, the three Liliths were in Gemini. So, but they're in 29 degrees. Okay, opposite. Okay. There's a divorce. Okay. So there's opposition. So it definitely had to separate from finances as well. A marriage for finances in the second house, right here in Juno. Into Lilith saying like, okay, well I need to go through this myself. Eighth house it's a very heavy house because it's transformational. It's fucking Pluto, right? It's ruled by Scorpio and rules by Pluto for sure, and Mars. Co-ruled by Mars. So, well, that kind of explains. Okay, so definitely a letting go, for sure. Mars shows that there's had to be letting go that needs to happen because it's still in Pisces. So letting go still needs to take place for her to really embrace and see that, okay, I can find my own commitment and growth into my own wealth, internal wealth and optimism, so that I don't have to marry my anything else in this world, and so I have to transform my this sort of like Lilith, like so with Juno and Lilith working together, when you come together and say, hey Juno, hey Lilith, hey girl, let's fucking do this, let's make it sort of work. Actually, well, let's make it fucking work. Like, sorry, not to be all fake there, but like, it's make it work, and say, let's go through this transition together, and say that you are not just only your feminine self, you're also your own lover, and therefore your own transition. And because it's, I don't know if that's making any sense right now, but it definitely is that. For those who get what I'm saying, if you could read my mind, it's like you'll know what I'm talking about. But basically, that's what it is. So, I think that's about it. There could be more that I could go deep into, but I'm not going to because I don't want to I don't know. Anyways, it's just a long video. Okay. In any case, that's all for now. I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Much blessings and much guidance. Listen always, just as I do. I'm still learning myself. So let's do this together. Let's do this together. Blessings, everyone. I'll see you guys later.